I'm your host and moderator, Attorney Willie Stevens. Dr. Jeremy Blunt is an empowerment speaker, therapist, personal growth and professional development coach, philanthropist, and self-help author. His more than 20 years of professional speaking, leadership, and development experience has equipped him with an abundance of relevant content to empower and teach skills like resilience, self-development, and effective goal setting. So, Dr. Blunt, what is your experience with men in counseling? Do they normally come, or is it they have to be drugged or dragged there?
You'll be surprised. It's maybe a combination of the two. Some of them are actually drugged because they're coming from their significant other. Sometimes they're coming because their significant other has given them the ultimatum to get some. But then some of them just come because they find that they are missing something. They need something. And they've tried everything on their own and hadn't gotten the answers that they needed. So I have about a little bit over 20 years experience of, I've been practicing for about 9 years, but 20 years experience of just dealing with men. I was a youth pastor at one time. I was a minister. So I have plenty of experience of dealing with men when they're facing different challenging times.
Yeah, so at their lowest, and sometimes they just need someone to lean on, and sometimes I know it's difficult, and I know as far as in my life, I've experienced a lot of men, and some things we just don't talk about.
It's a stigma.
Yeah.
That there's the stigma of mental health, period, of what good does it do to talk to somebody, which has always been very strange to me because we've been learning how to talk since we were born.
Yeah.
We've always, it's just human nature, we want to have conversations with people. But somewhere along the line for men, it was kind of shuttered. It was kind of, I like to say, put a lid on it.
Yeah.
And we're told to kind of keep your comments to yourself and not express yourself.
Be tough.
To be
Deal
tough.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, a lot of times men, they feel like no one will understand. And they don't know how to express it. Because think about it, when we were young, you were taught how to express your feelings. When you was mad, you saw how to ball your fist, you saw how to hoop and holler, you saw how to express it. So no one has a problem expressing how they feel. We just have a problem sharing, meaning putting them into words.
Verbalizing.
We don't have the vocabulary to do it.
Yeah.
The average vocabulary is about 7 different words: happy, sad, angry, mad, and that's about all. Okay, all right. That's about the extent of where people go, but they just don't have the vocabulary because they haven't been forced to use it or put in positions to use it. So they've been shunned a lot of times.
Yeah.
So, women as well as men have it, but men even more so, because the way that we learn is we learn from seeing. If I see how you walk, I'm gonna walk like you walk. If I see you talking, then I learn from watching you talk. So because of the way that men are built, they have to see it in order to imitate it.
Yeah. I told my wife a long time ago that when we're talking about men, a lot of times, of course, women are, I don't want to say smarter than men, but a lot of times they're able to verbalize themselves much better than men. And then when men get to the point where they're losing an argument, they go back to being angry because that's where they win.
Yeah.
And so have you, I guess, had that type of experience where you, not necessarily you getting angry, but I'm saying as far as being able to counsel guys that are men that feel as if, they are not being heard in their house because they can't express themselves properly.
Yes, I hear it all the time. First off, let me say this: I'm not going to get in the man versus woman. I'm not going to let you take me down that path. Nope. They express themselves, and it's human nature for us to want to communicate. It's a natural thing that we have to. But it's also natural for us to protect ourselves. So a lot of times, the reason why men don't communicate is because their natural response when they attempted to communicate, they got shut down. They weren't accepted. And as a response to that, now I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, you're teaching me
You're
not to
teaching
talk
me,
to you.
exactly, because you're not accepting what I'm trying to express to you. Even if I don't know how to say it, I can only use tools that I have.
Yeah.
So if I don't have the tools to say what needs to be said, then this is what I have. This is what I'm going to share with you. And that's what growth on both ends has to come. For a lot of the females that come to me with their male significant others, a lot of times it's teaching them also, hey, you have to foster that. If you have it, that means yes, you're a leg up, but don't use it as I'm holding it over you.
Yes, yes, yes.
And don't make the man feel bad about what he's saying or how he's expressing it. You have to put them in a position to help grow them into that person. You know, I always tell people, you know, you marry what you need. You have to teach and groom them into what you want.
Okay.
So the same thing goes with communication. With those men, if you want them to communicate with you, then you have to groom them into that. You have to teach them those skills and really listen. One of the hardest things for us to do today is really listen when our partner tells us something. And men, you know, we want to be heard. You know, we want to be understood, but understanding can't come without us being heard.
Yeah.
So, you know, if there was anything I could tell women that deal with men, that would be the one thing that I would tell them. Hey, really practice hearing them. Not just, you know, listening to them, not just hearing them. Listen to what they're saying and ask questions. Ask questions till you understand why their thought process is the way that it is. That's what the mental health part is really all about. Why is your thought process? What drove you to be that way? Why are you thinking this way? Why is your response like this?
Yes.
You know, what, and not so much the why, but the what. What caused it? Where did that come from? Think back to as long as you can remember, when did you start acting like this? And once you are able to get some of those answers from out of men, then you'll have better understanding and the communication will be better.
Do you find that it's normally, I guess the genesis of it is when they were young, and that's what they saw? And maybe if the father wasn't there in the neighborhood or the uncles, that's how they responded. And so that's what they, I guess, grasped.
We learn by what we see.
Yeah.
So yes, that is a part of it. and this is Dr. Blunt's theory. Okay? and my belief, so don't go looking in books and everything. This is my belief. But I can tell you, you can look around and we're not just stuck to what we were. We are not who we were. It's like there was a time when you were a younger man,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Before
the bones start popping.
You know, you think back as a child. I remember wearing a size 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, I'm a little bit older now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even, I don't really look at size 7 shoes, let alone try to wear them at this point, because I'm in a different era.
Yeah.
So when you're in a different era, irregardless of what that era was, see it for what it was. But now that you're in a different one, okay, now we gotta handle this differently. Mm-hmm. We have to figure out what we need for this era. We gotta figure out what we need in order to make, to create the life for us that will work for us now. So let me bring it connected for you.
Okay.
So the teachings that you either weren't taught or were taught when you were like younger, like age 7, mm-hmm. those applied to then. But now that you are where you are, the old saying that says when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
So now that you know, okay, now is your responsibility to not just blame back then. Yeah. What do I need to find out how to fix it right now? And that is the part that I work with so many men to help, not just men, help people understand it. Where you are right now, all right, if you're not happy, what do you need in order to get there today? And being able to do that, we can't blame our past as much as we need to say take responsibility for our present.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me ask you this then. Do you find that women are able to express emotion?
Here we go.
Let me get it out. Do you find that women are able to express emotion easier than men can?
Express?
Other than anger, I think that's an emotion too, but other than anger.
I often would do, whenever I do seminars, I ask people to take 1 minute and write down as many emotions as they can in that 1 minute. Statistically, the average person can only name between 7 and 9. There's over 3,000 emotions. It's because we were taught to express them, but not share them. So, yes, women may be more because they connect with others more so than men connect with others.
Yes.
Because they do socialize. They are more sociable butterflies, more so than men. Okay? So because they're talking to others, it widens their vocabulary. So in that essence, that puts them ahead. Whereby the way I like the way the late Dr. Miles Monroe puts it. Men, and T.D. Jakes talked about it also, about men going into their cave. We analyze internally. Women analyze externally. So they talk to other people about their things. Where men, we're going to try to figure it out, kind of get an answer in our mind, and then we just bloop with the answer.
Yeah.
There's a great book out there, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
That it really helps to understand how the two different minds work. We just want to jump to a conclusion. We just want to pull the trigger, get it done. Where women are just going to talk about it. So a lot of times they talk about it a whole lot more than we talk about it.
Yeah.
But then right before they get ready to make a decision, they're still thinking about it, talking about it. Let me look at it from another angle and all of these different things. So yeah, they are more connected because of that aspect. Where we just want to make it happen.
Fix the problem and get it over with. Don't want to talk about it.
Then when it's wrong, we're hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
Don't want to be told nothing about it.
Yes.
Or we just jump and we don't think about what needs to happen before we do something else.
And it seems like you just read the book of my life. Dr. Blunt, let's jump right back into this here.
Okay.
I know a lot of people have high stress jobs, especially when you're talking about doctors, counselors, lawyers. In most cases, we take other people's problems and put it on our own backs. And we walk around with that stress associated with it. I know sometimes people have problems with their vision sometimes. Their high blood pressure high, all these type of issues that come with dealing with that type of stress. Do you have any type of tips for people that are in those type of careers that are very high stress to actually, I guess, allow them to not croak or whatever,
Yes. I'll give you a couple.
Okay.
First of all, let's talk about stress, because stress does kill. And carrying the weight of the different things that you experience in life, we weren't intended to just carry them with us on a day-to-day basis. Every day should be a reset for you. So at the end of every day, being able to leave the things from yesterday in yesterday and begin anew every day. So there's certain things I really push clients to do what I call take your meds every day, or what I call meds RX. All right. First part is meditation. Whether or not that's through prayer, yoga, just sitting quiet, reading, doing something to reset you every day, because you have to grow every single day. So by you doing that, it actually helps you to de-stress. The E stands for exercise. Exercise every day, at least 30 minutes. Every doctor tells you that.
Yeah.
Okay, but being able to actually release those things helps you clear out some of the mental clutter that's in your mind. I would also like to throw this one in there. Journal. Write down your thoughts of what's going on with you, how you felt about it. At the end of every day, it helps to get it out from in here onto paper. Because when you have a lot of different things going on, imagine like all these thoughts bouncing around in your head. So you go to bed and they're still bouncing around. You wake up the next morning, guess what? Now they're bouncing around again.
And you hadn't had a good rest.
Yeah, you're taking on some more bouncing around. So before you go to bed, hey, write them out. It's easier once you get them out of your head on the paper. Doesn't mean that it's solved, but it means it helps you start the process of working through some of those things that were adding that stress to you. So M stands for meditation, E stands for exercise, D stands for diet. Some people would wonder, what does diet have to do with stress? It actually has a lot to do with stress, because there are some people that they eat when they're stressed.
Yes, yes.
Some people don't eat when they're stressed. So now your body's out of balance.
Yeah.
So making sure that you eat on a consistent basis. You know, most experts will tell you 6 times a day. Okay, smaller meals, not 3 large meals every day. 6 smaller meals throughout the day to help keep your digestive system going. The S stands for sleep. Making sure you get a good amount of sleep at night. These are things that you can do to help lower your stress. Yes, we would all love to get the 8 hours recommended. I myself cannot sleep past about 7 hours. Just no matter how much I try. My body wakes me up. Just doesn't happen. But there are 3 little key things that I like to tell people about how to help you sleep. Your last meal should be 3 hours before you go to bed. Okay. Stop drinking anything the last 2 hours before you go to bed. And the last hour, shut down anything digital. TV, phone, all of those different things. The last hour to help your mind shut down so that you can sleep peacefully. And then of course, when you wake up in the morning, be mindful to start with your meditation. Yeah. So those would be the tips that I would tell you right off to help people kind of declutter and de-stress. Remember to take those meds every day.